Is China's Lehman moment not too far away? China has incurred massive debt not by borrowing but by lending for its ambitious border and road initiative and CPEC projects. China's debt is dangerously high at close to 3 times its GDP, with the ratio having nearly doubled in recent years. China's overall debt was 270.1% of GDP at the end of 2020. China's outstanding foreign debt reached $2.4 trillion in 2020. China's recent transition from a loan shark to being in massive debt had just been waiting to happen. China has been called a loan shark, and for good reason. The sheer amount of Chinese lending is startling. Not too long ago, China received foreign aid, but now the tables have turned. According to aid data, China has loaned to 13,427 infrastructure projects worth $1 trillion across 165 countries. Now, some would argue that China is providing much needed funds to these nations. But that argument is wrong because China is not just any other lender. China is muscular, commercially savvy, and wants to be paid on time with interest. And with nations defaulting on the loan money, China is under pressure. 140, that's the number of countries that have joined the Belt and Road Initiative by signing a Memorandum of Understanding with China this year. What's more is that these nations are struggling to pay back the massive loans. Without the loans being paid back, the Chinese economy has started to show cracks. Flagship BRI investment projects have suffered delays or cancellations. Chinese lending has come under increased scrutiny amid debt servicing and corruption concerns. So which are the big projects that are putting pressure on lender China as BRI partnered countries struggle to pay back the loans? In 2015, China announced the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project worth $62 billion. The CPEC would link Pakistan's southern Gwadar port in Balochistan on the Arabian Sea to China's western Xinjiang region. But Pakistan is facing huge debt challenges arising out of its participation in the Belt and Road Initiative. According to reports, it is now putting the brakes on new buildings with less than half of $62 billion of Chinese projects carried out. In 2017, the strategic Hambantota port, which straddles the world's busiest east-west shipping route, was handed over to China in a classic debt swap, sparking global concerns. Luring an unsuspecting country into debt comes easy to China. In 2017, the then Prime Minister had agreed to lease the port for 99 years to a venture led by China Merchants Port Holdings in return for $1.1 billion. India is worried that a foothold in Sri Lanka could give China a military advantage in the Indian Ocean. In much the same way, Djibouti in East Africa is set to lose control of a container terminal built as a part of BRI projects after it was saddled with debt which was equal to 88% of its GDP of $1.72 billion. Venezuela is buried deep in debt as well. China had struck a series of oil for loans agreements with Venezuela in 2007. Venezuela owes Beijing around $20 billion, according to estimates by China's Commerce Ministry. All in all, different countries owe at least $385 billion of debt to China. This amount has slipped through scrutiny of international lenders such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. The question we are asking is that, is China's BRI strategy to enslave countries a price too high to pay as it shoots itself in the foot?